Welcome into Minnesota Vikings Now. I am Tom Downey, and if you want the Vikings to beat the Steelers on Thursday Night Football, then like the video. I'm not trying to blame everyone watching, but not that many of you liked the preview video last week, and look what ended up happening against the Detroit Lions. There is at least a correlation there. So if you want the Vikings to win what I think is a must-win game against the Steelers on Thursday night, like the video right now. Minnesota is coming off a dreadful, embarrassing loss against the Detroit Lions. Now it's time to get a win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's preview this week's game. Minnesota is at home on a short week in Thursday Night Football, which does benefit Minnesota, although the injuries we'll get into are a bit of a factor there. Pittsburgh coming off a very different result than what Minnesota was. The Steelers upset the Ravens last week, but neither team's defense is really all that great this year. The Steelers' scoring defense is down, although I'm inclined to blame a not great offense for that, since those two things are always interconnected. The odds here are, at least intriguing, I think. Minnesota is a 3-point favorite at home against Pittsburgh. That makes things interesting here. The Vikings have been a really weird team this year. No team has found more creative ways to lose games this year than Minnesota. You lose in overtime against the Ravens back in Week 9. Then you get two massive wins to keep your playoff hopes in great shape, if not good shape, or worse good shape, I should say, against the Chargers, against the Packers. You lose a tough one on the road against the hot Niners team. Okay, I get that. Then you have a disaster against the Detroit Lions, 29-27. Those two things are bad for Minnesota. And there are some overlapping games between these two teams. Of course, that makes sense. It is the AFC, NFC there. The Bears, the Steelers beat them barely, a game they maybe should have lost. They tied against the Lions. For whatever reason, Detroit has had their best success this year against the AFC North. They should have beat the Ravens, remember? It's just weird. They lost to the Chargers, a team that the Ravens, or the Vikings beat. They got blown out by the Bengals in Week 12 and then upset the Baltimore Ravens in Week 13. Fairly unusual. From the Vikings standpoint, I think they need this game. As we'll get into, there's a lot riding on this game in terms of keeping in the mix for the playoff picture, staying alive in that race, I should say. They could still lose this game and make it, but the odds take a pretty big dip. So coming off that loss against the Lions, I want you to be honest with this question. Who do you have winning on Thursday Night Football? Type in V for the Vikings and type in S for the Steelers. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So, the ad break comes here on YouTube. Head down to the comment section and let me know who you've got winning. Let's talk injury news and notes now for Minnesota. A lot on this part. We'll come back to Christian Darrisaw, Adam Thielen. I want to briefly mention Cameron Bynum, the safety, was limited on Tuesday with an ankle. Blake Lynch limited with a hip. Both upgraded. Lynch was upgraded from DMP, so I think they'll be able to play. What is intriguing here in the big story, Dalvin Cook was limited at practice on Monday. That is a bit of a surprise, given his shoulder injury he may or may not be dealing with. Remember, Mike Zimmer called him day-to-day, and then Schefter and Rapport said, oh, he's going to be out there, he's going to miss time. Cook, I don't think, ends up playing, but being limited on Tuesday gives it a chance. He is still nursing that shoulder injury he suffered against the 49ers. Had this been a Sunday game, I would have felt decently about Dalvin Cook being out there. The limited tag, I'm saying there's a chance. I still think Alexander Mattison will be the lead back and the starter for Minnesota, and I think the Vikings will give Cook one more week to get fully healthy. But limited means there is a chance, and we'll know very soon once the Vikings start to label guys out and whatnot. So what is the percent chance that you think Dalvin Cook plays on Thursday? Get those predictions and, I guess, percentages in for me in the comment section. In the end, I would still be surprised if Dalvin Cook is out there and able to play. I just don't think he's going to be 100%. It could maybe be a Darrell Henderson, Sony Michel situation where Henderson's active, but Michel takes every single rep, and Henderson does not play except in case of emergency. So I don't think Cook is out there, but I would happily end up being wrong on that front. Now, if you want to bet on the Vikings game, do it with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code you guys see on screen. It's right there. It's chat125. When you put down at least $100, it will get you a 125% deposit bonus. That is chatsports.com/bet. Promo code chat125. That way, if you bet on the Vikings to beat the Lions, like I did, you still got a ton of leftover money. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code is chat125. Let's focus in now on the two players who did not participate at practice on Tuesday. That is Christian Darrisaw and Adam Thielen. Ankle injuries for both. At this rate, I would be surprised. Never say never, but I'd be surprised if they were able to go. Darrisaw, I like him a lot as a young, promising player. If he is unable to go, it means the Vikings will have to make some changes and developments there. What they did last week, which I found interesting, by the way, was they moved Ali Udoh over from his normal right guard spot to the left tackle position, and then promoted Mason Cole from the former backup center spot over to right guard. So I am curious if they adopt that strategy again. I thought Udoh was a bit better than he normally is at right guard, frankly, at left tackle. So that is a worth monitoring situation. We'll see if that philosophy is installed again. But when healthy, this is the depth chart, so I wanted to keep that consistent. Receiver-wise, this is the same situation here. Adam Thielen injured very early in that game. It led to more reps for KJ Osborne, who's kind of been the slot guy for them. And then also more reps for D.D. Westbrook. So I think you'll see more Westbrook. Osborne's been a nice little developmental piece overall for Minnesota as of late. Dan Chisnia got 5 snaps. Amir Smith-Marset is not really doing a whole lot for this team right now. I think it'll be a massive rotation of Jefferson, Osborne, and Westbrook. Those will be the 3 receivers in the event, as I expect, Thielen's unable to go against the Steelers. So assuming these 2 guys are indeed out, who is the bigger loss? Type in CD for Christian Darrisaw in the comment section, or type in AT for Adam Thielen. Get those votes in for me in the comments section. While you're down there in the comments, folks, make sure you are subscribed. We're getting closer to 2,000 subscribers here on Minnesota Vikings Now, but we're still way behind our Lions and Bears channel, which is a bit disappointing. If you want free videos almost every single day, hit that big red button and subscribe. It's simple, guys. More subscribers, more videos going forward. Some good news now on the injury situation for Minnesota. We'll look at the linebackers here after they were surprisingly down some key pieces last week at the linebacker spot. They had to lean so heavily on Nick Vigil, and even Troy Dye got some reps, and Blake Lynch played very, very well. Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr, and super backup Ryan Connolly were all full participants at practice, the quad, biceps, and knee respectively. So I think you will see the typical starting lineup, although I was really impressed with how Blake Lynch played. I thought he fared very well in coverage, unlike Nick Vigil. I would not mind seeing Blake Lynch get a little bit more run, a little bit more opportunity as the number 3 linebacker for this team. Will they adopt that? I don't know. That's probably asking for a little bit too much. But Kendricks and Barr being back is a very big deal for a Steelers team that wants to run the football a lot. I want you guys now to predict the score of Vikings versus Steelers. I will make my score prediction at the end of today's video, but I want you to throw yours in right now. Who do you think wins, and what's the score of Vikings-Steelers? More good news at the cornerback position. 3 players were all a full participant this week after Mackenzie Alexander had been banged up. Rashad Breeland was battling a groin injury, and Patrick Peterson missed last week due to COVID. All 3 players full participants. They should be cleared and good to play. which is the first time it's been the case really in a while, and I'm curious what this rotation of corners looks like for Minnesota. Mackenzie Alexander tends to be their slot corner. I want to keep playing Cameron Dantzler over Bashaud Breeland. The touchdown allowed by, I think it was Dantzler in the end. Maybe it was Breeland. Can't remember. The game winner. Not too upset about that one. So I want to see Peterson, Dantzler, and McKenzie in the slot. We'll see if the Vikings keep rolling with Bashaud Breeland. However, my final thoughts and then score prediction on this game. I believe this is a must-win game for the Minnesota Vikings. They cannot lose because it will drastically impact their playoff hopes and chances. They sit right now, technically speaking, a game back in the playoff race. But remember, they lost the head-to-head against San Francisco. That has a very large impact on the tiebreaker scenario. And with games against the Rams and Packers still left, I don't know if you're going to win those two games, which means you got to beat the Steelers and the Bears twice, and that gets you to 8-9, and even then, you still might need some help. If you lose this game, I think the season might as well be over for Minnesota. But I predict the Vikings will win this one. I've got Minnesota taking down the Steelers 24-20. On Friday, by the way, folks, after that game wraps up, we will have a little recap news, rumors, roundup for you guys. So if you want that, if you want our reaction to Minnesota's win or loss against the Steelers, or I guess tie, technically possible as well, hit that big red button and subscribe right now.